Welcome, everyone, to the Pantheon. I'm your host, Ray.
And I'm Evy.
And Evy, what are we looking at?
We are looking at, what are we at again?
Bing, bing, bing,
No. oh, Hawkeye.
Yes, we're looking at Hawkeye. It sounds like...
Okay.
Okay. Hawkeye, starring Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner. This Christmas-themed movie would be the best way to describe this movie.
Yeah.
Because it takes place 1 week before Christmas. So we're only up reviewing the first 3 episodes. Your general thoughts of this series so far?
It's good so far, this guy, hangs out with a woman, and then another woman too, who's not his girlfriend or anything, but they both together go on an adventure. It's really, really, really well done.
Yeah, it's based on the Matt Fraction book. I bought the graphic novel of the series. I haven't read it yet. By the time we get to episodes 4 through 6, I'll hopefully have read the entire series based on that writing. The graphic artist, I forgot his name. The design of the intro and extra is the way he drew the comic book covers. And there's going to be a spin-off of this. It's going to be the character of Matea. I think I wrote her name down. I know her character's name. I don't want to reveal the character's name yet because I know where she's from. It is Maya Lopez. That's the character who we see in episode 3. She's the one who can mimic, who can actually see your fighting ability and turn it against you. In the movie, is played by an actual Native American. Her name is Alaqua Cox. She's actually a native from Wisconsin, and she's deaf in real life. Mm-hmm. So the first 3 episodes is kind of cool. The first one we introduced to Kate Bishop, that's Haley Steinfeld's character. She's a rich girl who's now sort of like removed. Her parents took away her money. It starts off in 2012 during the Battle of New York. And you see why she saw Hawkeye as a child and saved her indirectly, was what inspired her to become an archer. She wants to be a superhero like Barton, and that was a person she gravitated to. It was also the day her father died during the attack of New York. So it's a mixed bag for her. And her mother is taken over. Now, her mother is kind of a iffy character. It's played by Vera Farmiga, plays her mother. It is an interesting storyline. We don't know too much so far. And Barton is there on vacation with his family, as you mentioned earlier, Evie. His wife is back home, but because of his if you go to like Endgame, he was Ronin, and he killed like. During the blip, his family disappeared, and he became very bitter and very jaded. So he killed a lot of bad people, a lot of gangsters, and so as a result, the Ronin character almost decimated the entire organized crime unit in New York City. We learned, and then once Endgame concluded, Ronin disappeared. Like no one, because Black Widow gave him brought back his family and gave him a reason to live and to find joy in himself. But the blood he spilled. It's on his hands. When this costume is found on a black market, he has to retrieve the costume because it gives nothing but bad luck. And unfortunately, Kate Bishop's character stumbles across the costume, and she's being trailed by a bunch of people, including the Tracksuit Mafia is after her. And she's got this one-eyed dog, which is kind of cool. All of this, the Tracksuit Mafia and the one-eyed dog is actually in the Matt Fraction comic book. Hopefully, I'll give you more information when I actually read the book, so we'll go into that later on. This story is interesting because I like the character of Kate Bishop. Clint is very humble. Like he's self-deprecating. He's retired, and he's now an older man. He's got a hearing aid, so he can't hear too well. It's like they really humanized his character. What were your thoughts, Evie?
It was a good story. I can't wait to finish with the rest of it. Whatever we read, I think it's 4 to 6 or something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because of the drama and the special effects.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all. What movie do you think is like the movie Hawkeye?
Oh, like the series Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Um, it's funny. I'm thinking It's a Wonderful Life, whereas like because it's like whereas rather than people not know who he is, everyone knows he's Hawkeye. So it's kind of the inversion of that. But it's like A Wonderful Life for Clint. It's like life after being Ronin is addressed, and it's I think it's a redemption. Though okay, at this point now we don't see it, but obviously his association of being Ronin is going to be found out eventually, and he's going to answer for his sins. So I believe at some level it's going to be like A Wonderful Life for Clint. If this comes out in any stretch of the imagination of being a positive, like a Christmas theme, then yeah, it's A Wonderful Life for Clint Barton is how I'm looking at how this is going to go. Though I do feel that Haley Steinfeld's character has great potential, and I'm starting to even though her character is supposed to be annoying, it's sort of like interesting to see where she goes. And the action scene in the last episode 3, when they finally shoot arrows together, really really cool.
awesome.
What do you think of Maya, the girl who can't hear, who is also a fighter? What do you think of her character?
Yeah, I didn't. I yeah, it was really good. She's really good at her at her job, or being like an actress. Um, there's also like a lady who is deaf. Something Matlin. I
Maya.
forget. Maya.
Maya,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Story's good. Can't wait. Oh, to actually read some more. I can't wait. So
Okay. Would you is this a series you'd recommend for viewers to watch or no?
if you like kind of like dramas and
Mhm.
stuff, or people who studies um, the Marvel world.
Mhm. Honestly, I don't know if this is something because like Clinton is like probably the least favorite of the Avengers. Like, well, and they kind of address that like how he is sort of like covert, and therefore he's not the most well-known Avengers. You know, do you think this kind of puts a shine like a fresh coat of paint on his character? Like, would this bring interest to you after seeing like if assuming it's a good series because we don't know how this is going to end. If it does have a good ending to this, would this make you want to see more, or would you just prefer to have a good closure to this guy and moving on to newer stuff?
Yeah, I want to see more and see what happens
Mm-hmm.
actually. Like, yeah, like now ever since I read the first 3
Mm-hmm.
um, dramas, I definitely want to see it. I will probably do it tonight actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm opposite book. I think it's the way they said the premise is that I mean fighting in these wars and Infinity War and Civil War. I mean he's hearing impaired.
yeah,
He walks with a bit of a limp kind of at times. You can see his body's a little sore. He
yeah.
put ice, and he's sort of battle weary, and
Hmm.
he's just yearning to be a family man and being with his children. So I look at this as being his swan song. Like the way they set it up is that he's now ready for like he's put that side of his life behind him, and he really wants to be there for his kids. There's even a scene where he can't hear his youngest son, talk to him.
Yeah,
And, Kate is like writing stuff out for him so he can see what his son is saying to him. And his son says, and this is the part that's sort of touching. He goes, the son tells him, if you can't make it home for Christmas, it's okay. And his whole goal is to be home for Christmas. He has like 4 or 5 days to get to be home for Christmas. And that's when Amanda, he's like an action hero. He breaks down and cries. He actually has a moment where you feel for his character. So I like to think that it's going to give some kind of closure to the character, and I like to see if there's a good ending to this. He does get to go home, and it's home where that's it for him. Like he's happy. You know, that's the way it's being crafted as being, because since he's so broken down and worn out and worn torn and has the baggage of experience and regrets with the Ronan character that we will probably explore more. I think if it's done right, this should be his going away. And I think I'd be happy. The way they're setting up right now, I think it's a really good way to send him off on learning more about him, give him his due, because he hasn't had, like Black Widow, these two characters have never had their due in the actual movies. Now they're going to get their due, and it's his. And you can tell like Renner is getting up there in age. He's looking pretty old too. So it's kind of like a nice way to say goodbye to the character.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Well, we'll see. Because honestly, you might be right. He may be going up with being a tag team with Kate Bishop's character, or being involved with a spinoff. There will be a spinoff with the Maya character. Her character's name will probably reveal it in 4, 5, and 6. But yeah, there is a spinoff. I'm not sure when that's going to be, and hopefully that'll be kind of cool. Evy, how can they reach us?
Internet or
and what website? What's our website address?
The website address is www.pantheonfm.com. Email pantheonofm@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Twitter, Instagram @pantheonfm.
All right. And with that, I'm Ray.
And I'm Evy.
We'll talk to you next week. Sorry.
All right.
Take care.